Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the show presented by Kala in association with Let's Talk. Let's Talk is creating safe spaces through peer led conversations and shared journeys to connect, reflect, and grow together. Before I start the proceedings of this episode, let me very quickly make a very exciting announcement. We are well set to host the third edition of Kala Literature Awards on 7th and 8th February 2026. The venue is Civil Services Officers Institute, CSOI, at Vinay Marg in New Delhi. The events would cover everything around literature and arts. They will also have book launches, solo speakers, speakerships, and many more events. So all those who are looking for sponsor any of the events or to take part in any of the events, please get in touch with us at kalalitfest at gmail.com. KALALITFEST at gmail.com. Now back to the show. Let me introduce to you the moderator of the evening, Vardhan Dharkar. Vardhan,
Namaste.
Namaste,
Hi,
Vardhan.
Vardhan.
Welcome to the show. Vardhan left his corporate career to follow his passions for fitness and creativity. So that is Vardhan for you. Now about the episode, the guests on the episode. So today's episode is very different in that in the earlier episodes there used to be one author or one artist, and there was a fireside conversation between the moderator, that is Vardhan, and the guest. But today we have eight very talented, accomplished storytellers. Yes, you guessed it right. We have today we are going to talk about an anthology. These writers have contributed to the anthology, which is titled as Whimsical Tales of Whiskers and Wonders. And it's a book of short stories for everyone. So let us see what each writer has to say about the book and their creative journey. We will start with putting the spotlight on the curator of the book and then the authors in the order of their stories. A quick note, tonight's episode is also being recorded and it will be available on the Kala YouTube channel, Sanjay Chandra 5376. So, our first guest is Dr. Ashish Rastogi. Dr. Ashish Rastogi is a medical professional, researcher, and a published author. He is the curator and also the illustrator of the anthology. The black and white illustrations in the book are by him. So over to you, Vardhan, and over to you, Ashish.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjay, for your introduction. And namaste to all our viewers in Bharat and outside of Bharat. Welcome to yet another edition and a unique edition of the show. And it will be our pleasure to interact with all the authors who have contributed to this anthology. So, Ashish ji, let's begin our conversation.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead.
So, my first question is why anthology?
Why an anthology?
Yeah.
So basically, I believe we take part in a lot of book fairs, and where a lot of children approach us for stories, and despite having Sudha Murthy, despite having Ruskin Bond, they still talk about Harry Potter and foreign writers. And so this thought came about that we should create something for Indians by Indians, Indian children, and we put this idea in our group, which is the Indie Authors Group. And 8 of us then raised their hands and said, yes, let's do this. And that's where the anthology came about.
Okay. And which is the age group that it targets?
So our primary, as far as the language is concerned, it's targeting 8 to 14 years. But the way the stories are written and the theme of the story, which is centered around grandparents, I think any age group would love these stories, whether they read it for nostalgia or they read it for pleasure, um, or curiosity. This can be read by anyone.
So you briefly mentioned about Harry Potter and the books like that are so much popular in India. Why is it that Indian books or the Indian books based on Indian themes are not that popular and not well received? What is your take?
I think it's not just children's books, it's right across every genre. I think we have from our school days where our textbooks had a lot of foreign, majority of the chapters were foreign writers. So we are, primed right from our childhood to read foreign writers, and that carries over in our adulthood. And now I think for the past 10, 15 years, we have a lot of writers who are, I would say, writing commercial fiction,
Mm.
not just literary fiction. Earlier, there was a lot of literary fiction coming out of India. Now you have a lot of commercial fiction in all genres coming out of India. So I believe to give it another 5, 10 years, and the scenario will change.
That sounds very optimistic and very good because that is one area wherein I think we need to make good progress. And let's hope that in next 5 years we have international bestseller in this category as well.
Definitely.
So now coming back to this book, how was this book received by the targeted audience and more importantly by parents as well? Because they are the ones who are going to buy and encourage their kids to read it.
Yeah. So I think in my interactions, and I think other authors will also confirm, the first thing is the parents are delighted because they also understand that there is a lot of foreign literature, and there are very few books with the Indian names and Indian stories set in Indian settings. So parents are very welcoming for this. Children also, they need a little convincing because, like I said, many of them are still talking about Harry Potter, and they come to us and say, Harry Potter है क्या इसमें? Harry Potter जैसी कहानी है क्या इसमें? So the fun part is we have some stories which are fantasy and folktales in this. And when we talk about these stories to them, and the illustrations definitely help, because when they see the illustrations, they see Indian names, it attracts them.
Oh, okay. Now coming to the title of the book, Whimsical Tales of Whiskers and Wonders. What does it convey? What did you want to convey to your readers through this title?
I think that apart from the cover, I think it's the title that makes people pick up books. And for children, I think something that relates to animals, something that relates to fantasy and world, that perception we wanted to give. So you have the whiskers part and the wonder part in the title, and of course, whimsical tales means there's a lot of fun and mystery, thriller, fantasy, folk tales, all sorts of stories are there in this.
Okay. So maybe if you can share just one compliment that you received and that gave encouragement to all of you before we move
Uh,
on to the next author.
I think most of the time people have loved the stories, the children who have read it. But I will leave it up to other authors, to share something unique that has come in front of them from any reader that they have interacted.
Okay, perfect. So now I think let's move on to the respective authors who have contributed to this anthology. Welcome, Shri Shankar Sahai ji. And I think
So,
this is
so, so
second
a
time
very
that you are
quick,
here.
so a very quick introduction. The first story in the anthology is by Professor Shankar Sahai, and Professor Shankar Sahai is a storyteller, poet, scriptwriter, moderator, lyricist, career CV counselor, and author. So over to you, Vardhan, and over to you, Professor Shankar Sahar.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Sanjay.
Namaskar.
Namaskar and welcome to the show. This is, I think, your second appearance on the show,
Yes, that's correct.
and we are delighted to have you over here again.
Same here. Same here.
Perfect. So, my first question to you is, what motivated you to write for children?
See, as Ashish ji has mentioned that I'm part of Indie Authors Group, and the main objective of Indie Authors is to connect the book lovers with the books. So last year there was a discussion that an anthology is being planned for children. And usually I write short stories and poems. Like I'm a man of very few words. So I love writing short stories, snippets, poems. And when the proposal came that anthology for children, short stories, so I think I was one of the first ones to volunteer. And of course, all of us were very excited because this was one area that we are all very closely related with, that reading habit amongst children, it needs to pick up because most of the times the children are glued to the screen, which is we all admit that it should be changed. And the only positive move in this direction can be through the books, because books can be the only thing which can take the children away from the screen.
I agree completely with you. Is the only thing is that in the good old days there were not too many distractions, so we used to read. Today now,
Right,
unfortunately, there are too many distractions that are there.
right. So
Perfect.
I always say that the good old days, it's always good days. There's nothing like old. Even today is a good day. And
Yep.
only thing is that how we accept and how we change to the
Hmm.
things.
Yeah. No, I agree completely with you. So maybe if very briefly you can share what is the story, what does it talk about, so that it will excite our viewers and readers to go ahead and buy the book and read complete story.
Sure. So I'll very briefly touch upon it. The story is titled Dream Reader. And the background is that there's a small island in Goa by the name of Sharao Island. And the name is the meaning of the name Sharao is that a person who is overly emotional or sentimental. So it's a story about two kids, two teenagers, and they are very inquisitive. And as has been said, that many a time they are inspired by something like James Bond or detective or this other detective novels. And one of there's a new entrant in the village, and that person is having a bookstore. The entire village has become a fan of this person. So both of them, they are very inquisitive and they are very suspicious that there's something wrong with this person. He's trying to cheat the gullible villagers, and both of them plan that we should kind of expose him, that he is not all that good. There the story starts, and how it develops, how their confrontation, final confrontation is there. The person who's running the bookstore, and people call him Dream Reader.
Okay.
So that's the entire plot. I will not, the spoiler alert, of course. So I'll not give away the final. And then the story moves. Their face off with the person. What happens after that? It's for all the book lovers to read it.
Perfect. Very interesting. And I'm sure that our viewers would be motivated. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Most welcome.
So our next writer in the book is Tanvi Agarwal. She is a senior product engineer, blogger, writer, and podcaster. Over to you.
Hello,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us all here.
And welcome to the show. My question to you is that how easy or difficult it was for you to write for children?
Okay, so if I talk about how easy or difficult for me when this task came up, so I already had a story actually. Not
Mhm.
for the kids anthology, but for the theme as love. And it
Okay.
was around the grandparents folk tale, like something like that. So when it came, so I eventually just reached out to Ashish and I talked about the story, like, can I give it a try? It was I wrote it for something else, but now since we have all the things settled with this particular theme that we are going, so it eventually came up with me, because in that I wanted to talk about a very sweet bond of a granddaughter with her grandmother. So that is how, like, somehow it has the reflection of my own bond from my childhood with my grandmother. So
Mhm.
that is how this story eventually came up with me.
Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. Uh, my question to you would be is that if you can share with our viewers any compliments, any feedback that you received and that motivated you and encouraged you.
Okay, if I talk about this particular story, so initially at the initial level, I shared this story with one of my friend's kid. So from that kid who read the story, he was delighted to read this story, and he was like, "This is going to make people happy and make them understand how crucial is the bond between grandparents and their grandchildren." So that is something that keeps me motivated that I should write more of short stories.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds very interesting, and I'm very sure that the kids would be motivated to read the story and the book. Best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Dilip Rangwani is a theater student and an author. Over to you.
Thank you, and welcome Dilip to the show.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So, when we were talking with Ashish, he mentioned, and with Shankar also, he mentioned that the reading habit needs to be developed and increased. Is that, in today's world, when there are so many other options which are available to the kids, how is it that we are going to make sure that we hold their interest in reading?
So, there are possibilities that those who are not into readings, they can start with the short stories, specifically that animated one, because that fascinates them, that that pictures and all that. And I guess this is how they can start, and slowly, gradually, they will gain the interest to read it more and more.
Okay, perfect. I think all of us need to make an effort to move
Yes.
in that direction. And only if we are able to develop their interest at a young age, then maybe you will find that even at the adult life, they will continue to read the books.
True.
Perfect. So
And
coming to your story in the book, I found the name of the story itself very interesting. Maybe if you can
yes.
just talk about it.
Okay, so the title is Momo, Sissy, and the Cat Family. So it's about the family of cats, and like while growing up in the school, we all have been passed through that hurdles of asking permission from our parents to go to the school picnic for the first time, like
Yeah.
be it 10, 12. So it's they are talking about that if they have their own language of communication. And so their parents have given them task if they need to go to the picnic. So what's that task? Readers have to read it, and I guess they will like it definitely.
Perfect. Sounds very interesting.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
The next writer is Ranjana Tripathi. She is an internationally certified life coach, NLP practitioner, and an author. Over to you.
Thank you. And welcome to the show, Ranjana.
Good evening and namaste, everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste. Right.
So, my question is that, today, children, are they fascinated by the fairy tales or they would be keen and interested in reading what is more contemporary along with in which there are current equipments, current gadgets and current lifestyle?
Absolutely, they will be, because otherwise we wouldn't be having such Hollywood great movies. And Bollywood is also trying to include AI and creating some kind of fantasy and fascinating this kind of subject-wise movies. And above and all, if you see, even if they are gadget oriented, there is a child within everybody, even within us, who always thinks or imagines stuff, and we want something different from what we are leading. So it will always be in fashion. It will never go out of fashion.
Okay, okay, okay. So that's something which is very important, because that is getting the pulse of the reader is, I think, the most critical aspect. And if we are able to get that, then I think we will have a international bestseller coming out of India.
Yeah, sure.
And maybe all of you could be part of that book.
Hopefully, yeah.
So now coming to your story in the book, Mysterious Visitor, maybe if you can briefly talk about it.
Yeah, so see, I have been like a storyteller from like childhood. Say, I have been like creating short stories, imaginative, and it was always impromptu. So there is one thing which I always used to dream of, like flying. How about if we could fly and go from one place to another place, just simply like that, whenever we want? So here, what I have tried to do is using the flying dream that I used to have. With that, I tried to make children understand that happiness is nothing related to materialistic. It is nothing related to when you have lots of gadgets or objects or toys or something like that. There is something beyond which they should understand, which is in small things. And this will also teach them how to be grateful for small things that they have, and they can be happy even if something is not achieved by them or something is not there what they aspire to have. So it is a very simple story, but it does include a kind of magic. So I just would like to use the crux that is there. It is that there will be a sadness in the story, then there will be something unexpected. Then the child embraces that unexpected thing. And the moment he embraces that, he can see the magic. And when he sees the magic, again back to happiness and being the great gratitude is there. So the entire story moves around all these emotions.
Perfect. Very interesting. And I think that's something which is very important. Our readers to read the book. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So the next writer in the book is Shagun Shukla. Shagun is a poet, blogger, a Reiki practitioner, and an author. Over to you.
Welcome, Shagun, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here.
And what I wanted to know from you is that what is it that can be done to increase the interest of the children in reading the books?
I think the children are like sponges. Whatever we as adults do, the children try and imbibe them in their life. So if we are reading more, we are introducing books around them more, replacing gadgets with books in a way, but making it a play learning experience, finding nighttime, bedtime story times, so little things, finding nooks and corners in your city where reading groups can be formed. So these are the things which children will find attracted to. So they can pick up reading, which is the need of the day, I would say. So that's it.
So maybe if I have to ask you one more question on this, is that do you think that the books for children are affordable and easily available?
Now, yes, I would say definitely, because a lot of reading is happening around children's genre, and there are amazing writers, not only foreign, Indian writers as well. So definitely, yes, the books are easily available. We just have to find the time and, the aptitude to go for it.
That's encouraging. And maybe if you can share with our viewers the story that you have contributed to this anthology, what is it all about?
Definitely. I have always been encouraged by my teenage boys. So for me, they have been a role model, rather a support system always. And somewhere when I write, I visualize a story. So for me, I was at that point in a coastal town of Visakhapatnam. And in that area, you would find the story around an old lady who hides her identity because of fear, because of what has happened in her past. And it is a small child who gives her the confidence. He's her neighbor's son, but the way he moves around and, always engages her in all activities, follows her around, very affectionate. And he stands by her in moment of need. So the once the surprise is broken, that who is she, what is she actually guarding, so that is what is the beauty of the story all about. And in that story I try to put in little things like the local cuisine, the fishermen, their nets and things like that, so you get a feel of the place where the story is written. That's it. So I hope the children read it and love it.
I'm very sure. I'm very sure that they would be motivated and they would be encouraged to
Thank
read.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much.
So now Alifia Chunawala, she's a therapist, emotional wellness coach, and author. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Good
Alicia, for
evening.
coming on the show.
Thank
I
you.
hope
Thank
I
you so
pronounced
much.
your name correctly.
Yes.
Thank you. So I wanted to know from you is that what is it that children are looking for in the books which are written for them? Because all the books are fortunately or unfortunately written by adults.
Yes, that's actually an amazing question because I spend a lot of time with the kids and I think they're looking for something relatable. It's important for them to see themselves in the book. So a lot of times when we write from our perspective or our problems, it sort of creates a disconnect. But when you get into their shoes and you talk to them about things that they go through every day, that's when they pick it up. So so what a story does is helps them to deal and cope with their situation and come out of it. And that's the beauty of it is because they need to feel what you've written. And that's where I think the connect builds.
Perfect. I think that sounds very interesting. And maybe if you can share with our viewers the story that you have contributed to the anthology.
Sure. So I've written a story called The Three Note Whistle. And when I start writing a story, I don't know what I'm going to write about. It evolves and I get equally surprised as it emerges. And the story I've written is about um, two little boys, a boy called Zen and his discovery of something magical in everyday life. So the setting of the story, I've kept it a little ambiguous. I've started off saying a city like yours because I don't want to create it. I want every child to connect to it, right? So if you can imagine this happening where you are, then automatically it can become your story too. And I think because I've grown up in a city, one of the biggest things I've noticed is people are very busy. And as a kid, nobody really has the time for you. So this is a story about that one 7-year-old boy Zen who finds himself with nothing to do in a summer vacation because everyone around him is busy. So he goes to his grandfather's village to visit his cousin who's around the same age. So he has someone to play with. And when life slows down, automatically you start connecting to so much more. And in in that journey, he makes a magical friend, his guardian angel. He meets someone called his guardian angel, and it's a friend he can bring back, and this friend helps him to then connect with people within his city as well. So he's found a friend for life. He's found a support system to get him out of that conundrum that he was in, that who's going to play with me, who's going to look after me, what do I do? Now he knows he can just ask for help from his angels and he'll, come out of it. So that's what the story is about.
Perfect. Very interesting. Maybe I can ask you one question is that what was the feedback that you received about the book or about the story that you have contributed?
So I've actually had kids come up to me and ask me, how do I connect my guardian angel? What is the process? How can I meet them? They've asked me who my guardian angels are. So there's a lot of engagement. I see a lot of action on top of it because they're just so curious to know more. And it's a lovely conversation because we sit and we do a little exercise and then we help them connect, we help them get over it. So it's been a lot of fun connecting with those as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So now we have Chetna Bhatia, educator, editor, and author. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chetnaji, for coming on the show.
Thank you,
And
sir. Thank you so much for calling us here.
and my question to you is that what is it that parents can do to encourage the habit of reading in children?
Okay, so as a teacher, I can say we have lots of parents who come and tell us, like, please tell children to read and all. So we try to provide them with more books from school itself, and also tell parents to go and join some libraries that are around. And you all start reading. Like, if parents are reading, children are going to see that, and even they will inculcate that habit. So that's the first thing we say, that we tell parents, you all reduce your time with gadgets or TV and all that in front of children at least, so that even they go back to the books.
Okay, I think that's a good first step that we can take to make sure that children start reading rather than just watching the screen. And coming to your story in the anthology, The Hidden Treasure. So maybe if we can talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. So it's a story about a child who's visiting her grandparents, a grandmother, a small village, which is very less nowadays. Like, children, they don't go. They are not more interested in going to villages because they have all the luxuries in the cities. So I've tried to make this story a little adventurous, wherein they see a palace which is haunted and something. There's a well which is like not used, and also there's a mystery, little bit of adventure, and children go and find out about what's happening there. And there they find a book which talks about some hidden treasure, and then uh, they try to learn what is the real treasure. Is it all about the luxury and all that, or is it about some relation or something? So that's how they connect, and they come to know what is the real treasure. So that's all my story is about.
Interesting, very interesting. And very quickly, if you can share what was the feedback that you received?
One very good feedback that I got from one of the parents was, like, when we launched the book, some parents and children had come for the launch, and one feedback I got from a parent was, I just wanted to browse the book before I give it to my child, but I couldn't leave the book down. I read all the stories and then I gave it to my child. So she was so engrossed in the stories, like it took me back to my childhood. So that was something amazing. I really loved it.
I
And
think
my
that is,
students have come and told me that they have liked the stories so much.
I think that is the best compliment that anyone can give for the book.
Yes, sir.
And that is the success of the book and the efforts.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Now coming back to Ashish ji. So
Now,
Ashish
Ashish
ji,
ji is back as the writer, as the last writer in this anthology. So, Vardhan.
yeah. So Ashish ji, first of all, I wanted to know what does the title mean? How do I pronounce that? The title
Okay.
of the story.
So this is actually a story that was narrated to me a lot of times by our my nani,
Okay.
and she's from she's from the Badaयूं town in UP.
Uh-huh.
And every summer when we used to meet her, we used to bug her for stories, and this was one of the stories she used to narrate. And it's Tomda to Rao Batao.
Okay.
So Tomda is basically a drum, and Rao
Uh-huh.
Batao is it's round. So the
Okay.
drum is round.
Okay.
And this is a very fascinating animal story. And I've used that context to show that how important it is for grandparents and children, grandchildren to connect through these stories. We have been talking about developing reading habit. And I think one of the reasons why, at least I can say I developed a reading habit was because of these stories. I wanted more of these stories. And you can't have your grandmother all the time and you can't bug her all the time, so obviously you turn to books. And what we observe nowadays is, modern grandparents are there and everybody is busy in their world. So that connect has started to, I would say, break. And that is the reason why the theme of this anthology was grandparents' stories.
Okay. That is
So
that makes a lot of sense.
Vardhan, now what I'll do is I'll quickly add all the authors in the frame with you. so that all authors are there in one frame.
Yeah.
Just hold on.
So while Sanjay is adding all the authors, Ashishji, I wanted to ask you one more question. Is that
Mhm.
now that the first book is out and it is received well, any plans of coming with the sequel to that?
Yes, we have plans, but I think we are just trying. It was released in June, so I believe the next book we will start working somewhere in next June, so that at least we give 1 year and justice to this book.
Mm. Okay, perfect. I think what you say makes a lot of sense that we have to give time for the first book to be read by others. Perfect. I think with that, we have had a very good discussion with all the authors of this anthology. Now, let me hand over the proceedings to Sanjay. Back to you, Sanjay.
Okay, so those are all the authors with Vardhan. Vardhan Dharkar, Ashish Rastogi, Tanvi Agarwal, Ranjana Tripathi, Shankar Sahai, Dilip Rangwani, Shagun Shukla, Chetna Bhatia, and Alifia Chunawala. All of them, these eight very amazing storytellers. And we are definitely looking forward to reading the next part of this book also. That brings us to the end of this episode of the show. It was a totally different episode, totally different format. It was more of a reflections with Vardhan Dharkar, but of the anthology as shared by the eight amazing storytellers. The episode we recorded the episode, and it will also be shared on the Kala YouTube channel Sanjay Chandra 5376 by tomorrow. You catch it there and give your reviews, submit your reviews, and do check out the book, The Whimsical Tales of Whiskers and Wonders. So that's it for today's episode of the show, brought to you by Kala with our wellness partner. Let's talk. See you next time. Till then, take care and enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye bye.